Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, September the 13th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by two people today. First, Mr. Mookie Betts. He's making an appearance. And of course, now, I pulled the rankings. She is top 10 internationally respected in MLB DFS, male or female. That's how strong she is. It's Miss Deb Lutz. Deb, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And you know what? My biggest wins this week were from NFL. Who'd have thunk?
How about that? There you go.
To make a guest appearance.
Yes, we'll have to have you on there for sure. Get you and Steven on there together. That'd be a riot.
Yeah, the West Coast gang.
Yes. Well, welcome everybody. Hopefully people had some winners last night. My Yahoo money train continues. So that's sort of cool. How did you fare last night, Deb?
Yeah, it was a good night for me, actually. I was I won across the board. I didn't play a lot last night. Just given how much coming off of the weekend, sometimes I play a little less on Monday, but I did put a couple of lineups in Yahoo and DK for MLB and won on both of those. And then also for the single game on NFL, I doubled my money. So even despite the fact that my Broncos lost, that was ugly.
Yeah, that was brutal. That's a tough way to go down. I thought when he hit that field goal at the end, I thought it was good. It looked like it was going.
Yeah. I don't know. Russell Wilson did not show me what I was expecting. So
no,
we'll
shout out.
They've got a good team.
They do. Shout out to Crash and Steven, though. Great first weekend for us. A lot of cashers all over the place. Definitely last night, too. I got into the bunny myself, so I was pretty happy about that. But that was a lot of fun. And then, like I said, though, that's Mookie Betts' agent. You owe him money for putting his likeness up there.
It was actually, believe it or not, it was actually Steve Miller.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
He's wanted to say thank you for the shout out. There you go. That's hilarious. I totally lost my train of thought. What was I? Like I said, though, I'm telling you right now, you got to dive into these baseball. This first 3 weeks of the NFL, I have traced it back. The last 6 years have been some of the most popular times for me in MLB because you do have a huge influx of NFL DFS money that's come in on all the sites, and they decide to tinker with some baseball. And let's face it, unless you follow this and really study and work hard at it, you can't just jump in, and try to take stuff down. So there's a lot more availability as far as money and fish money, if you will. And also because specifically on Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays, but a lot of people just push all that in on NFL, and you're going to get some overlay on some contests in MLB and some spots where you can really get an advantage. And hey, the DFS rake is pretty stiff. So where you can make up some of that is really helpful,
Absolutely. I did find on Sunday, I felt the competition was a little less, on the MLB slate. So I love that you, came out with, you're still doing the pod. And, I think it's a little sneaky way to get some extra bankroll going.
Well, I mean, I expected it. Our Sunday pod wasn't a ton of people and ton of views, but you know what? Those that did, it paid off, and I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, I promised our members I was going to do it, and we're going after it. And there's nobody else out there that's taking the time to do a Sunday MLB pod, so we're going to continue to do it.
One and only.
Yes. I want to say hello, good afternoon to our folks that are jumped in here already. Jim Parrish is first in the chat, so thank you, Jim. RJ, JT, Rodney Pollard, King of Smack, Payne. I said I was going to call him King of Pain, so it's easier. So I'm going to continue to do that. Boy from Cali.
King of Pain.
What's that?
Good song.
I know it. I love that song. Yes. That's
dating
a little
ourselves
ways
in that
back,
quote.
though. If you don't know that song, look it up. King of Pain, great one.
Synchronicity.
Yes. Fear Money's in there. Who else do we have? Somebody by the name of Josh Davis. He's just in here because he knows it's a lefty against the Brewers, and I'm going to be picking on him. And who else? Rodney Travis Duarte. What's up, man? Great to have you in here with us. So, all right, some great stuff today. We've got weather should be fine, Deb. I saw Yankees at Boston. There's a chance of a little bit of a shower there. I don't think it's going to affect things. I think it's good to go. I think we're a total clean slate. And like you said in the one mention you put on there, I don't know if it was on Twitter or in Discord, we don't have any distractions. We've got baseball tonight. We have a 7:05 main slate on all three sites, and we have good weather. I mean, and it's a big slate. We've got 11 games on DraftKings, 10 on Fanduel, 10 on Yahoo. I mean, that's right up my alley. I love it.
Absolutely. Fully focused.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we're getting some Canna in there for you. We knew that. Deb's favorite all-time Major League Baseball player. There's no doubt. So anyway, we've got some good stuff, a lot to talk about today. We're going to go through and we're going to break it all down game by game, and we'll refer to some of the stacks, some of the pitching ownership, try to get everybody in an exact position to take some stuff down. We'll do all our regulars, pay up, value, fade, BVP, stacks. We'll also share at the end our prize picks, and of course, our presenting sponsor, Boom Fantasy. If you want to try out Boom Fantasy, it is the perfect time to do that. We have a link attached right here on Twitter, right here on YouTube, in TikTok, on our website, anywhere. Click on it, go to Boom Fantasy, download it, give them a try. They are phenomenal. I think you will absolutely love their selection of choices of different things you can play. And hopefully you're one of the 26 states that allow Boom right now, and that's going to be growing. I spoke with Boom a little bit earlier today, and they should be adding states each day. So that will be outstanding. Anything else you want to go over before we break this sucker down?
Big slate. We got it. I guess we're going to go over all the games, even though the first four aren't on the main slate, right?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to just touch on them, brief comments, and blow right through them because we want to focus on the big money today. But let's mention them anyway. They are the Los Angeles Angels and Cleveland Guardians at 6:10. It is 68 degrees, wind blowing out to right at 10 miles an hour in Cleveland. 8 is the total, 3.78 for the Angels, 4.22 for the Guardians. Jose Suarez, 8.2K against Cody Morris, 5.9. Any quick feels on this one?
No, for anyone who's playing the early slate, I do like Suarez.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Cleveland bats have been sort of mixed, and Suarez has been very strong in his last few outings. So I think it's a good play in the early games.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe a few one-off bats on the Angels side. If you can spend up for a Trout, certainly can never go wrong with him. And Rengifo, 3.9 is a fair price. Taylor Ward at 3.5, probably going to back clean up today. So that would be my lean in that game. The second one is 6:40 Pirates Reds. It is 70 degrees in Cincinnati. No wind to speak of. I don't have a total on this game right now, but it's Luis Ortiz at 4K against Raynel Espinal at 5.6K. So how you figure that this is like a spring training double A game.
Exactly. This is just, look your finger, stick it in the air. No idea how this one goes.
I mean, we've been playing Reds and they do come through, the Friedel, India, Farmer, Fraley, Solano group. I know India missed a game here recently, so I don't know. Rodolfo Castro's got some pop, and O'Neill Cruz probably leading off. So, You know what? It's a roll the dice game for sure. No question.
Yeah, some cheap bats though.
There are cheap bats. 640, it's Phillies Marlins. Total of 7, 3.36 implied for the Phillies, 3.64 for the Marlins. Bailey Falter, the lefty, 9K against Sandy Alcantara, 11.4K. Big bucks, no whammies for Sandy today. Any lean in this one?
Sandy was my fade pitcher before I realized it was the early game because the Philly bats hit him pretty well. So I like Falter here. He's been decent, and Miami's offense is not that great. So I would lean Falter and some of the Philly bats.
I'm with you. I like the Philly stack against Alcantara. I think he's slowing down all those innings, maybe catching up a little bit. And Philly's been popping it. I like the lefties. I like Harper specifically. And if you're playing, PrizePicks and Boom, where you can play these in a mix, I think going against Alcantara is a good play today myself.
I would agree.
Last one, Houston Astros, Detroit Tigers, 640 as well. 8 total, only 69 degrees in Detroit. Slight breeze blowing out to left, 8 miles an hour. Hunter Brown, my buddy that I did all that hooting and hollering for, and he came through, 7.3K. And of course, I like him. I love him. And Drew Hutchison, 6.2K. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Not much to say about this one.
Any love there?
Nah, not much to say about this one.
Hunter Brown, man, he's the real deal. I'm telling you right now. Hunter Brown, play him if you're playing that early slate and just be done with it. Couple of one-off Astros, and we'll go from there. All right, let's get into what matters here. This is where we're pouring all our strength and energy today. This is a really good slate. A lot of good potential here. No Coors game, no Wrigley game, good weather. I mean, it's perfect. Yeah. So let's start it off. 7:05, Baltimore at Washington. 75 degrees in Washington, no wind to speak of. 8.5 is the total. 4.70 implied for the O's. The Nats are 3.80. Dean Kramer, 7.3K against Corey Abbott, 5.7K. So what do you think, Deb?
Yeah, so I'm going to start out with a little bit of a bang here. And I like Dean Kramer as my value pitcher.
Wow.
Okay. Yep. Little contrarian, but I think I wanted to avoid your value pitcher, who I think I know you're going with, because he's your other man crush.
He is my go-to. There's no doubt.
So I wanted to give our listeners a little bit of a different perspective, and I like Kramer here. I think I think Kramer's a little underrated. He's he's had some quality games. His last outing was okay. But prior to that, 34, 39, 25, 43 against some good teams, against Houston, Boston, Toronto. So, I think he's going to go very low owned. I checked the ownership projections. He's right down at the bottom there at a fair price point. So I like taking a little bit of flyer on my SP2 today and going with Dean Kramer against a weak, not a team that strikes out a lot, but a weak offensive team.
True. And since that's your value pitcher, let's look at the ownership initially here. Like you said, 2.3% is all. So definitely a real sweet contrarian value pitcher, but 6.3%. So a +4 on chance to be a top 2% pitcher on the slate. On Fanduel, he's 4%. Let's see, 3. No, where are we at here? Top, I'm looking here. Dean Kramer, ownership. There he is. Less than 1%, Deb. Yeah. So that'd be cool if you had him there. Awesome. But a 4% chance of being a top 1% pitcher there. So, the percentages are that he can come through, even though the ownership is very low. On Yahoo, at least, he's 2.6%. 7.3% to be a top 2% pitcher. So I do like when you see that 4 or 5% difference in projected ownership to projected top pitcher. So I don't blame you there whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think tonight, it's an interesting slate. You got a lot of top tier pitchers, and a lot of them, a couple of them that are real obvious ones that are going to command a lot of ownership. So I think you have to differentiate a little bit on the pitching side on DK and Yahoo in particular.
Yeah. Anything else on this game you want to touch on?
I kind of like the Baltimore bats,
Okay.
as we talk about stacks, but I was surprised to see that they were a very highly owned stack at this point. So I've got a couple of other stacks I like better, but I don't mind them at all.
Yeah, for me, Baltimore's one of my two favorite stacks. So I'm
Okay. Yep.
I'm jumping right in. Yeah, I really like this stack today. I love him in this matchup against Corey Abbott. I think Abbott is not a good pitcher. And, it's all relative. When we say a chalky stack, and it's 30% or 40%, or sometimes you get Coors or Wrigley or some of these games, Dodgers or Yankees, where they're 40%, 30%. Baltimore is the second projected ownership stack, but it's only 11.5%.
Yeah.
So that's not anything intimidating to me. So on DraftKings, they're 11.5%, which is the second highest stack total. I will say on Fanduel, they're number one at 16%, but still not anything egregious. And on Yahoo, they're second at 11.5%. So yes, they're popular in considering with the rest of the stacks, but there's so many teams spread out with ownership today. It's not the chalky stack that really, that when you say second highest owned or highest owned stack. So I just think it's a great spot for them. I think Corey Abbott is awful. I think that that they can really just blow him up and get it done. So they're one of my favorite stacks for sure.
Awesome.
All right, Nationals, no interest there for me. So I think your Kramer pick makes sense. And hopefully the ball's flying in Washington for us there for at least for Baltimore.
What does Roto Grinders have as the runs per team per side?
Did I not give implied?
I don't think so.
I thought I did, but I may not have. 4.70 for Baltimore.
Okay.
3.80 for Washington.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we move on to game 2, 7:07. It is Tampa at Toronto. I got a feeling the roof will be open there. I don't have a number on that game as far as the over/under yet. Do you?
Let me see.
Because that for me, it's just not listed. So there must be somebody in the lineup that they're questionable and not sure that they're going to be in there. So we don't have a total there. I think the roof will be open, and I think that, there should be some runs, but it looks like it's going to be Josh Fleming, the lefty, at 7.7K against Alek Manoah, 10.6K.
I think it's Manoah actually. So he was scratched from the first game.
Right.
For illness. So he I don't know if he's going to play in the second game or not.
That's correct. And that's what we need to find out. Plus, a lot of times they won't put a total on when there's an earlier game because the lineups have a tendency to be so much different, if they're going to sit players in game 2. But both of these teams are in a pennant race. Yeah. So I think they're going to put their best out there. I have Manoah listed right now. So I think we stick with that at this point. But, this is a game we'll have to keep an eye on. We have to get more information on it before lock. But does anything jump out to you with the limited information at least we have at this point?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pay too much attention to Tampa, just not knowing who the Toronto pitcher is going to be. Yeah. But on the Toronto side, I do like a few bats, not really a stack for me, just given the expense of all the bats. But right. I'm eyeing Teoscar Hernandez, who's always a pretty good value. He's gone 6 for 10 with a home run and 6 RBIs against him. Wow. So versus Torino. So I think that's a pretty nice, 10. We talk about, kind of looking at those stats. 10's not a huge sample size, but 6 for 10, and for Teoscar with only 1 strikeout, that means he sort of he has his number.
Yeah, it could be. And, for me, I think Manoah's priced too high if he is pitching. I think he's really good, but 10.6, I think is a big number on DraftKings. Um, so I'm really, I like him. I respect him. If he does pitch, I'm probably not going to, try to go with any raised bats. But I do like the Blue Jays. I mean, they've been hitting the ball. They're not going to be my number one stack because they're so expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
Springer at 5.5, Vladdy's 5.7, Bichette 5.8, and Kirk 5.1.
Yeah.
And Teoscar's all the way up to 4.9. So he
Yep.
used to be really cheap. And Chapman at 4.8. So you don't get any breaks. Bichette's been the hottest. He's the guy that I'd lean to, but that is such a big salary commitment here. So this is going to be a key game for me, but to get a one bat, a one-off from the Blue Jays, I think is probably a good idea.
Okay.
Next one is the Chicago Cubs and the New York Mets. This is the game where everybody's going to have this guy, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And wait till you hear the implied total for the Cubs. It's comical. So it's Cubs-Mets, 80 degrees in New York, wind blowing out to right center at 13 miles an hour. So it's warm, little breeze blowing out, but it doesn't matter in Vegas. They do not want to lose their pants again on DeGrom because he's just such a machine. The total's only 6.5 in this game, and 4.62 of that is implied for the Mets, which leaves a paltry 1.88 for the Cubs. I don't know if I've seen a sub 2 implied in a hell of a long time.
Yeah, that's impressive.
1.88.
That's impressive. Well, and he's my guy. I mean, I'm a huge Mets fan, and I just, he's going to be owned by everybody. So you can look at it one of two ways, right? I mean, certainly for cash games, if you don't own him, you're probably in trouble. From a GPP standpoint, it might be interesting to build a lineup that doesn't have him just in case. But, the majority of my lineups are going to have him for sure.
I mean, it really is to a point of ridiculousness now. He's that good. And I don't think DraftKings and Fanduel priced him high enough. I mean, when you look at him in the perspective of the matchup, what he's done, I mean, his strikeout percentage is just like beyond off the charts. I mean, we're talking, Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan, Dwight Gooden days when they were striking out 45% of guys. I mean, it just doesn't happen. And 11.8, that's not enough. I mean, I'm locking him in DraftKings. 12K, not enough in FanDuel for a single pitcher. I mean, I think he should be $1,000 higher than that on both sites. The place that got it right, and this is where the little, hook comes in there for me today, because I play a lot on Yahoo. I've been very successful there. I know a lot of people don't, but you should. Yahoo's phenomenal. He's $67 there. So I've never seen anybody over 62.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So $67.
Wow.
So I may have to fade him on Yahoo just because you get yourself into a position there where if you don't, if you just take even a value pitcher with him, you have to scrape the bottom of the barrel to put a hitting lineup together.
Definitely.
But really, that's the way it should be. If you want DeGrom, you should have to pay the piper and then some. And, so for me,
it's how you can fit him into your lineup, right? I mean, that's the key.
Exactly. Right. Yep. And so it's 100% ownership for me on DraftKings and FanDuel. Yahoo, I'm probably going to have to go different just because they did price them out of this world. Now, I'm not going to spend any time reading any DeGrom stats or going into how bad the Cubs are. I mean, it's useless. I mean, the bottom line is he's the best pitcher in baseball by a lot.
Right.
And this is just a great matchup for him. And, they're trying to win games and just, so are you 100% lock and load too?
Yeah, basically. Yes, absolutely on FanDuel and absolutely on DK. And so I'll be building the GPP. I may look at one GPP without him, just to see. But the comment that I made earlier in the chat to Travis is, to King of Smack and Travis is, there's a lot of really good value bats tonight too.
There
So
are.
you can play DeGrom. There's definitely slates where, you can't get that, stud pitcher in there and feel good about the bats. But there's
Yep.
enough value out there tonight on the bat side of things that I really think you can. And I think you don't, because of that, you may not want to go too risky in cash on Fanduel where you only have one pitcher.
Right. I mean, I don't think you can afford to try to catch up all those points.
Right.
And,
Right.
we've talked about this before, even as a chalk blocker, let's just say he's the one pitcher you put in there on FanDuel and he just does okay. Instead of getting 75 or 80 fantasy points, he gets 45 or 50.
Right.
Well, you know what? Most everybody else is going to have them anyway. So it's not going to hurt you. So, right now, let's look at the ownership on pitching.
Yeah.
DeGrom right now, 69% projected ownership on DraftKings.
That's crazy.
And he's a 41% chance of being a top 2% pitcher. That's the highest number I've seen in a while on a full slate.
Yeah.
On FanDuel, he's, this is where, 54% is not that much.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't just do it. 54% is too low for me. But, the numbers are coming out that he's only 15% chance of being a top 1% pitcher, which I don't agree with. So you have a minus 39.7 leverage score on FanDuel. I think people are taking that to heart.
Yep.
I think that's a mistake. I think he's the play there.
Yeah.
Where he's that crazy price on Yahoo, he's 47% with a 44% chance of being a top 2% pitcher. Right. So I am torn on Yahoo, Deb, because I don't want to chase half the field if he throws 80 on the board.
Right.
But, can you get enough hitting to support it? It's a tough call.
Yeah, right, I totally agree. It's I'm all about DeGrom today, and I think you eat the chalk, right? I'm thinking we need a new T-shirt for DFS, like the chalk blocker, right?
Yeah, chalk blocker. That could be it. We need to get one, a Coach Talk DFS Coach Talk chalk blocker shirt. We need to copyright.
Cool.
I'm gonna stay on this game because my second stack. I'm going to know where I stand early in this night, Deb, because I love the Mets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm big on the Mets too. A lot of those bats are expensive again, so I'm probably looking at some of the cheaper Mets bats rather than the heart of the lineup. Play around the periphery a little bit. I do like Kana again, so
no kidding.
Go back to the Kana, right? Go back to the Kana well. And Naquin has been really, really strong. He's had 7 at-bats with 4 hits and a home run versus Sampson. Nice. And even the bottom of the order, maybe looking at McCann as my catcher. So I like the bottom of the order for the Mets.
Yeah, I'm, as far as the Mets being my one of my top 2 stacks, they're getting some ownership, but again, just they're third on DraftKings, but it's 9%. So there's no chalk ownership on stacks. Right. It almost isn't even worth worrying about the stack numbers today because it's all spread out all over the place. Totally. The Mets on FanDuel, though, not getting nearly as much love, 6%, which is down to like 7th there. But so I think you can get a little more contrarian there. Mets are third on Yahoo at 9%. So, I think, again, stacks not a concern today. There are people that do like the Mets along with me, though. And like you said, the concern is how do you fit them in price-wise? Nimmo is priced right. McNeil's priced right. I don't think Alonso's out of order at 5.5. Vogelbach at 4.2 is great. Kana at 4K, Nimmo at 4.9. Those guys in different spots. I think if you avoid Lindor's 6K number and stack them around that, Sampson's not good. And I know the Mets generally don't hit for DeGrom. I get that, but I just think the forces come together today. I mean, this could be one of those scenarios where they only need DeGrom to pitch 7 innings, strike out about 11, and win the game like 8-0 or 9-0. That's what I'm looking for.
All
here.
right.
And
I do have to say, I at one point, even though there's not a lot of data behind it, at one point I was thinking about Alonso as my home run call. I think he's due for a home run, and Sampson does give up a lot of homers to righties. So
he does.
It's a good thought there, Coach.
Yeah, and the fact that he's the only righty in that top 5 in the order for the Mets probably tonight. So that could cross them up. So I love it. So I'll be early on 7-10. I'll know where I stand at about 7:30 right off the bat.
Seriously. All right.
Do I need to check Discord? Do we have anything going crazy?
Yeah, I've been kind of going along with folks. Big Bino joined us just recently, so that's awesome.
Big Bino.
Jim Parrish says DeGrom and Montgomery, are they locks? So we just talked about DeGrom. He is, and like we said, Coach is gonna show his love for Montgomery a little later. So
no doubt. Is Crash still in here? Because I got to save some of that for Crash because he can't respond. I'm not making any bets when he's in. Last time you and I did a podcast together, I lost a bet to Crash. So when he was in chat, so I'm not doing that again. All right, let's get back right back at it. Yankees Red Sox. It's interesting to see your take here. 71 degrees. There is a little bit of a chance of rain in Boston, but I wouldn't worry about it. 8.5's the total. 4.73 implied for the Yankees. 3.77 for the Red Sox. Of course, Garrett Cole, 10.9K against Nick Pivetta, 7.6K. Again, I'm not even going to go back to stacks because, yes, there's some love there, but it's all spread out. You can take whoever you want today. Don't even stress the stack favoritism.
Yeah. I mean, Cole's back to pitching well again. He had a little bit of a mini slump, but he's back. He's pretty good against Boston. Pavetta's still kind of stinking it up, and there's definitely some bats on the Yankees side that excite me. In particular, Giancarlo Stanton batting number 2 today. He was another guy that I looked at for my home run call, but his ownership is also off the charts. So wanted to, I'll be playing him, but wanted to come up with someone a little more interesting for the home run call today.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, I think the Yankees are good plays here, and you can get some of them pretty cheap. They have some different guys in the lineup. We'll see when they put the lineup out. But, I don't mind the middle of that order. Donaldson, Cabrera, Andujar, IKF, some of those guys. If you want to stack up some Yanks, you can do that. It's hard, though, if you are going with DeGrom to chase after a Judge, just price-wise. It becomes a little bit difficult. But, Pavetta's been getting hit. He nibbles around. Not a good idea against the Yankees. I like Boston as a stadium to hit in. But, I don't think Pivetta totally gets blown up here. So I'm not going to have a big stack of the Yankees, just a one-off here and there. I don't, Cole, you probably can get Cole less owned than he normally is just because everybody that's spending money on pitching is spending it on DeGrom. So he'll probably go a little lesser owned than normal. But I just, Boston scrappy hitting, he has a tendency to give up the long ball. Devers kills him. Did you see Devers' numbers against him?
Unbelievable.
So Devers, I didn't even pick him as my BVP because I assumed you would.
Nope, I didn't either.
Wow. So listen to Devers this is Garrett Cole, Cy Young winner Garrett Cole.
Exactly.
He's 7 for 26, and guess what? 6 of them are homers.
Exactly.
1283 OPS, 962 slugging, 321 OBP. So, yeah, Devers is a nice play today. If you're not playing Cole, there's no question he's a good guy to get to. And I think, you could get to some of these other Red Sox bats too. Verdugo, Stories, Bogarts for sure. JD hits them decently. So yeah, I like the sticks in this game way better than going with Cole personally.
I agree. I'm not fading Cole. He's not my fade pitcher, but
right.
I'm not going to him.
I almost picked Cole as my fade pitcher, but I didn't want him dropping 14 strikeouts and making me look like
exactly
a ding-a-ling. So, all right, we go to the next one. Royals Twins 740. It's in Minnesota, total of 8, 76 degrees in Minnesota, no wind, 335 expected for KC, 4.65 implied for the Twinks. Chris Bubich, the lefty, 5.2K against Jolton Joe Ryan, 8.1K. Any love in this game?
Not for the pitchers.
No.
This is more of a hitter game for me. Again, I like stacking against Chris the Bubich. He burned me last time, but it's been good basically every other time. So I'll go back there. The Minnesota's hit him pretty well. I like, again, here, I don't need to go to the heart of the lineup. I like Kepler, Sanchez, Arias. You could even go to Correa and Miranda as well. So I really like Minnesota as a stack. They're one of my top stacks today.
Wow.
And I took a peek at Kansas City. I don't mind Kansas City either as maybe a little mini contrarian stack. You know, I was big on Joe Ryan earlier in the year, and but he's really come down to earth. And you know, the Kansas City bats have been okay. So I see a lot of this could be from a GPP standpoint, getting some Kansas City bats in there could be an interesting way to get some cheap bats in.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Kansas City side quite a bit. I really do. Melendez, Witt, Perez, Pasquantino, Taylor, and Massey. And you can get a group of those guys in fairly cheap. Yeah. For some reason, Vinny's only 2.1K.
I know. He might be a lock for me today, except that
I don't see how you pass him at that misprice.
Yes.
I mean, he's got tons of pop.
You know what it is? I think it's like his third game back from the DL. So
yeah,
I think they have not figured it out yet. But I think he's almost a lock for me today, except again, that first base position is you know, particularly when you're on DK and you only can do one. So
it's difficult, but at that price, man, I just don't know if I can get away from it either. And I wouldn't mind one of those other bats I mentioned from KC either. And then on the Twins side, I do have, you know, I've just been down on the Twins, and I say it like every day. But ever since Buxton, you can look at their stats. Since Buxton went out, they just are been awful in general. But you know, there's some bats in there. They're cheap. For some reason, they never give my man Miranda any respect. He's still only 3.1K, and he can hit right in the middle of that order. Correa's been decent, and you know, you can go to a few of those guys, but I'm just not a big believer in the Twins, even though I don't think Bubich is very good either. But one-offs on both sides, maybe two guys from KC is all I'm going to go in this game.
Cool.
This next one's important for me. Milwaukee Brewers, St. Louis Cardinals, 77 degrees, breeze blowing in at 5 miles an hour from right center. The Brewers have an implied total of 317. The Cardinals 433. 7.5 is that total. Like I said, Matt Bush, 4K for the Brewers, and my value pitcher for quite some time now, and I'm staying with him. Jordan Montgomery, the lefty, 8.4K. So
I can let me channel Coach here. So, right. So the Brewers stink against lefties.
Yes.
Montgomery, since he's come over to St. Louis, has been outstanding. Whatever the pitching staff did with him has been terrific.
Correct.
And he's going to be my value.
You read my mind. And I'm even going to go a step further and give you some stats to back myself up so you don't think I'm full of baloney. Crash will attest to it, too. He wouldn't deny it. The Brewers against lefties this year. Deb, are you ready for this?
Yes.
This is a team that was supposed to make the playoffs. 215 as a team against lefties. That's pretty pathetic.
That stinks. That's stinky.
And if you look at strikeouts, which we know is king, they are third worst striking out against left-handed pitchers. they've struck out almost 400 times. So, like you said, the St. Louis pitching coach, it's weird with pitchers. All it takes is a tweak here, a tweak there, throw the four-seamer 38% of the time instead of 27% of the time. Let's cut, whatever they do with these pitchers, the little tweaks like that, boom, it turns them around. And he has been steady. He's been and Milwaukee just has not hit lefties. And it's a good ballpark for pitching. I don't see why he's just not a great play today. 8,400 on DraftKings, 9,100 on Fanduel, and only 45. So he's $22 cheaper than DeGrom on Yahoo, which is pretty wild. It's like a whole pitcher.
Seriously.
So I just think he's in a great spot. And, I haven't been proven any different that he shouldn't do well in this matchup. He pitched against Milwaukee back on August 12th. He went 6 innings, only gave up 4 hits, no runs, struck out 8, and dropped 52 Fanduel points. I expect that plus a little. I've got him projected at a whopping 55 today. So if I can drop 55.
Wow, you have been projected at a 55?
I know. It's the weirdest thing ever. My projections are way out of. I know I have to tweak them down and change them a little bit because right now it's the best play I've had all year on Boom and on PrizePicks and everywhere. Now I'm telling you, it's just. I hope I'm not giving him the whammy jammies here. I have him way over what his number suggests, and I'll tweak it down a little bit as the day goes on. But if let's just say if his projection and DeGrom's projection come out, I'm going to be sitting on like 140 points.
Seriously, just to start off, right?
I mean, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
that's
we'll
fantastic.
see.
All right. Well, and the bats for St. Louis, I'm kind of eyeing them as a stack. They are very low owned. So, with very, very good leverage, one of the best on the slate, if not the best on, let's see, on DK, they have the highest leverage on the entire slate, 2.3% leverage. They're only identifies the top stack 5% of the time, and total ownership 1.9%. I just think you got. I mean, I don't know who's pitching over there in Milwaukee, right? You got Perdomo. You got who's the other guy that you mentioned? I mean, these guys are terrible.
For the Brewers, Matt Bush. Yeah. Bush. He's that guy. If you ever want to read an amazing story, that guy. Oh my God. I saw him pitch a game in person for the Rangers. He does have really good stuff, but he was driving while drunk and killed somebody.
Oh, really?
And he went to jail, and that he was a top prospect, and then he did his time, came out. He's a terrific young man, and just so sad story, but it's good that he's been able to stick since he came back in baseball, but real, if you ever want to read a touching story, it's really something to see. Wow, but tough. So it's hard not to root for the guy to pull it back together. But, again, he's not going to go very deep. He's more of a placeholder guy, and Milwaukee's bullpen hasn't been great. This is the worst news of the day, though. Josh Davis, I'm going to quote it. Montgomery is my value pitcher today. Oh, no.
What?
Yes. Give me that.
What?
Crash, please take that off your list. That's the kiss of death. He can't be jumping on my guy against the Brewers.
That's
Somebody
crazy.
Give him a call.
That is crazy. I've never heard such a thing. The world is clearly ending.
It is. But anyway, I agree with you, Deb, on the Cardinals side, hitting wise. I think they're good plays. Again, like, Bush will pitch an inning or two, maybe. And then the bullpen's been shaky. So, it certainly sets up. The only problem is the good guys are a lot of cha-ching. You know what I mean?
The guys are expensive. The good guys are expensive.
5'5", 6'1", and 5'8" for the 2, 3, 4 hitters.
Yeah, the good guys are expensive, but that's what I love about St. Louis. They got a lot of, you got You got Newt Bar in there. You got Donovan. You got Corey Dickerson. I mean, Dickerson's been lighting it up since he's been in the middle of that order. So
well, let me pump the brakes on Dickerson, because he was batting like the greatest batting average in God knows history for the first, and he has really started to hit the skid. So he has slowed down.
No.
So yes, he has.
Are you sure? His last game, 16.5 fantasy points.
I know, but let me tell you this. Let's dig in on Dickerson a little bit, because you have two issues going here. Number one, everybody thinks he's such a perfect value play, you can't get away from him. And he's all right. Let's look at, here's his last games. All right, 9, 12, 7, 10, 5. That's good. 0, 5, 8, 0, 3. So I mean, I get it. He chips in. But I don't see those, where he had back earlier, he had 22, 18, 22. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, he was crazy, but
he was out of his mind.
Now, what's he priced at?
Well, let me give you the problem. He gets pinch hit for really fast. Let me just tell you that. So as soon as they go to the left-handed pitcher, they're going to pinch hit Albert or whomever, and Mr. Dickerson's going to sit. And I'll say that because I felt the pain of that. I hate, me in basketball, I hate when people split positions, or in football when it's two running backs that split the ball. And in baseball, I can't stand guys that get pinch hit for, because I'm spending that and they're going to give me 2 at-bats. No. So I'm just saying, I've been playing Dickerson. I'm not playing Dickerson. He's slowed down and he gets pinch hit for. A bunch of pinch hitters. So hopefully I talked you off him, and now he homers.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, now he's going to exactly. Fair enough. But at 2,800, he's still a guy that I would eye last guy in. I'm not building a lineup around him, but
let me throw one last shade there. Lars Nootbaar stinks. Okay, I said it. Go ahead and replay it. I watched his at bats. The dude is living in a fantasy land. He's not that good.
How about Donovan? At the top of the line?
I like Donovan. I like Donovan, and I think he's got potential. Gorman, but he's not. We can agree on
that. Yeah. Hey, the one guy I did want to mention. This one's kind of crazy, right? But I didn't even know that they had Mike Brousseau on Milwaukee. Is he a midseason pickup?
I believe so. I believe so.
What's the deal with that Crash?
But I know he was Tampa last year. So
batting leadoff, and he's the one guy in the lineup who actually hits Montgomery. 4 of 13, a home run, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, batting .308 with a 1.02 OPS. So
I'm giving Montgomery the sign: brush him back, get him off the plate, or hit him. One or the other. We don't want to mess with this dude.
He's the only one who's going to get a hit today. All right, we should get going. I know
That's all right. Oakland A's, Texas Rangers, 8:05 in Texas. Expect the roof to be up. We'll see, but if it opens, we'll let you know in Discord and on Twitter. 8.5's the total. 4 for the A's, 4.5 for the Rangers. Ken Waldachuk. How many chucks can a woodchuck Waldachuk chuck if Waldachuk could chuck Waldachuk? He's a lefty, 6.2K against fellow young rookie Cole Reagan's lefty, 5.4K. Any love in this game in Texas?
You know how in NBA we say pass? Well, that's what I'm doing on this game. Pass.
Or I can say I'm going to Texas.
Crappy hitting, crappy pitching, pass.
Do you know what that means when I say I'm going to Texas?
I have no idea.
El Paso.
Oh, Coach.
I had to pull one out for you there.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
Dad jokes flying today.
That's bad.
It's bad. It is bad. He's been on the team. He says he got hurt. He's a big baby.
Oh, that's Brousseau. Yeah,
he's wimpy. Crash says he stinks. He's wimpy. No, he didn't say that. I'm just
here first, guys.
Exactly. So neither one of us is high on this game, and that's good. You can't play everybody. We'd like to, but you can't play them all. I don't know. Waldachuk and Reagan's, it's just too early to tell.
Yeah.
Maybe one-offs for the Rangers if you want to, if you have a few bucks to spend on Simeon or Sager or Lowe. Lowe's only 4.3, and he's having a hell of a year. Don't you usually play Adolis Garcia?
I like Garcia, but there's too many. I mean, there's some really good bats today. So I'm staying away.
This is going to be a pretty much wash game for us. So we're going to move on.
Okay.
Colorado Rockies at the Chicago White Sox, 71 degrees in Chicago. What a comfortable night for baseball. Little breeze left to right. 8.5 is the total in Vegas. 3.5 for the Rocks, and 5 even for the Black Sox. Chad Kuhl, 5.9K against Michael Kopech, 7.1K. I'm going to real quickly look again at the pitching. Let's talk about that for a second, because I think I saw Kopech getting a little love here. So now let me see here. No, I must have been dreaming. All right, so we know DeGrom's overwhelming. Who's getting respect after that? Ryan, who we just dismissed like he was an ugly stepchild.
Right.
He's on DraftKings. He's 27% owned. Cole at 21. Montgomery for the smart people at 18. Yu Darvish is coming up at 12, and then Kopech at 11. So he is in the group there. He's above all the rest. So he's 6th in DraftKings. I want to bring him up because I think he's going to get a lot of love from people.
Yeah.
As a cheap play.
Yeah.
At Fanduel, it's a lot different. It's spread everywhere after DeGrom because of the one pitcher site. But on Yahoo, you see a little bit of that. Kershaw getting some love there because he's priced only at $42. I don't know what Yahoo priced him so cheap. He's $25 cheaper than DeGrom. That's hilarious.
Wow.
Then it goes Cole, Darvish, Montgomery, Ryan, Wright, Gilbert, and then Kopech. Kopech not getting love on Yahoo. So do you think Kopech's decent play today?
Boy, it's funny. You look at Kopech and his numbers. I mean, he's got some decent numbers, but he's just been dreadful the past 2 months. I mean, hasn't gotten above, since June 7th, he's only had one time where he's been above a 20.
Yeah.
And I don't see it. But, look at this. King of Smack loves some Kopech.
Uh-oh.
It would be, there's, you got some, money riding on it. I mean, it sounds like some people are thinking possibly. I mean, we know that the Colorado lineup's nothing to, not so hot. So, but an interesting play. I'm not gonna put a lot on him, but might be worth taking another look at. On the other side of things, I mean, Cole is just terrible. He's just dreadful.
Yeah, he's not good.
No.
So, are you going to White Sox bats?
Yeah, I'm again more of a one-off. I'm not going to be stacking the White Sox today.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this game. I'm not going to Kopech. I agree with you. He's just not going well. I know Colorado's terrible, and they're super terrible outside of course. But, they still have guys that can catch a hold of the ball, with Crone and Blackman, Rogers, Grishik, and Kopech's just not gone well enough for me to put that much stock into him. He is cheap at 7-1, but that's because he's pitched like garbage.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't like this game. I'm not real high on the White Sox. I know Crash is going to probably play Elvis Andrus again. That's okay. But I don't know. Maybe, like you said, maybe a one-off on the White Sox. That's it for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Dodgers, Diamondbacks. We have the 3-game late slate. Maybe we'll have to throw an after-hour slate in, Deb.
That would be fun. I have some interesting plays on the late slate. Let's do it.
Yeah, you're a West Coaster. So for members, I'll add that to the schedule. We'll put a 3-game after-hour slate together for you. And the first one is 9:40, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. 8 is the total. Played in the Dome there, down in Deb Country. 4.68 for implied for the Dodgers. 3.32 for the D-backs. Clayton Kershaw, 10K versus Merrill Kelly, 9K. So this This is your home squad there. What do you got?
Yeah, I got a lot going on in this game. So I think it's going to be it's funny. It's the tale of two ends here. I had a lot going on in the first couple of games, and then I'm going to be having a little late night sweat going because a few things.
Spit it out. You can do it.
I can do it. My home run call is Christian Walker.
Nice.
So I am going a little bit contrarian. 7 for 22 with 4 home runs versus Kershaw and a 1.211 OPS. I like him a lot here. Kershaw is actually my fade pitcher. I think he's not as consistent as he used to be. I think Arizona plays him well. They've got a couple of guys in the middle of the lineup, Marte and Walker in particular. I think Walker goes deep. I think Marte gets a couple of hits. I think Stone Garrett gets a couple of hits, and they knock Kershaw out. So I really like a couple of the bats. Arizona again, really really cheap and underowned. And then on the flip side of it, I absolutely love the Dodgers stack. That is actually my top stack.
Top stack Dodgers. Okay.
Top stack Dodgers.
You're going to have to spend some greenbacks here.
I'm going to spend some greenbacks, but I've got enough value plays that I think I can make it work. Particularly,
let me guess. Maybe Mookie Betts.
There you go. Mookie Betts is my BVP.
Okay.
So 7 for 18 against Merrill Kelly with 3 homers, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, and a 1.4 OPS.
Beautiful.
I'm loving some Mookie today. To balance things out, I might go at the bottom of the lineup with some Bellinger, and then possibly play around with, taking a look and see from a stacking standpoint what I can fit in. But I absolutely, honestly, up and down the lineup, I like all of these guys against Kelly. They've played him really well. I mean, we know the Dodgers can hit. The only thing that makes me nervous is that it's the over-under is 7.5. So it's pretty low.
Yeah, I've got it at 8.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so that's not that bad.
Sort
but
of
you're right.
In line with everything else. But, what I like about the Dodgers stack is, because the guys are expensive and Kelly's a decent pitcher, they are very low owned. So, I'm all over this game with Kershaw as my fade, Dodgers as my stack, and Marte, Walker, and Garrett in the middle of that Arizona lineup as some of the less expensive plays tonight.
You may need to get a ticket and get the crutches out and get over to this game and go watch it.
Seriously. That's a great point.
You could be right yelling at them. Yeah. We'll Deb. We'll watch the game with Deb. Come on, I need you for Coach Todd.
That's awesome.
But I don't like either pitcher here either. I like the hitting. The question is, I don't know how much I can afford with the Dodgers, but I will be cherry picking a few guys out of that lineup for sure. Just all over the place. I think you got a lot of chance of some bombs here. Be wary of Joey Gallo. He's also falling into that pinch hit for scenario that makes me nervous.
I agree with that.
He can get you a bomb, but you can also get 2 at bats.
He does not excite me. I mean, he's honestly the only guy, maybe Chris Taylor, but other than that, I'm wherever I can fit them in. I like the Dodgers. Yeah.
I mean, Smith. I like Smith the most of all of them. He's my BVP play.
Okay.
Of the day. Yep. So I really do think that he's in a great spot here. I like the matchup. He's 7 for 16, small sample size, but he's hit a home run against him. 1161 OPS, 688 slugging, 474 OBP, and a smooth 438 average. So I agree with you. I like the Dodgers. I'm going to try to get as many in as I can, but not sure I'm going to be able to fit that many. But Smith would be my favorite of that entire group. I'm not playing Kershaw at all, but I'm not as gung-ho about stacking against him as you are. I could see a one-off here and there. I do like Stone Garrett. He's sort of a personal rookie favorite guy of mine. He's got a lot of swagger, power, speed. So I wouldn't mind, where I need a cheap bat at 2-4. Carson Kelly's always tempting when you can grab a catcher in a leadoff spot and get the extra at bat. So, yeah, some interest there. No question about it.
Cool.
All right, two left, Deb. 9:40. We've got the Padres at the Mariners. Interesting game here. I expect the roof to be open. Did you see that? Did you happen to see the Seattle fans boo Russell Wilson?
It's terrible. I mean,
so
after everything he's done, I know.
I mean, he's one of the most charity guys in the world.
Totally.
And he's done so much for that
city and that team, and
played hurt, blood and guts, world championship. How could you boo that guy?
That's pretty lame.
I'm really down on the Seattle fans after that. I can't believe it. But and it's funny because I watched the Seattle Mariners game, that phenomenal game where they gave up all the runs to the Braves and then they came back and hit 2 homers in the ninth to win. And I haven't seen a baseball crowd go that crazy in a long time. So their fans are intense there.
They are intense.
And I think that, that helps them in this game. And that's why my fade pitcher is Yu Darvish.
Wow.
I don't trust you in this game. It's going to be rocking in that place. And he's just not, he's been a very fine pitcher throughout his career, but not a big game pitcher, not a, raucous kind of pitcher. He just likes to do his thing. Yeah. So I think he folds a little bit under the pressure here. So I'd go against Darvish personally. A couple of one-offs on the Mariners side. I'm not going to go with Gilbert on the other side at 8.7, but I think 10-6 is too much for Darvish anyway with the way Seattle's hitting.
Yeah.
So, and certainly not interested really in the Padres because of some pricing there either, other than maybe a one-off. So, this is going to be a little bit of Seattle players for me and not much else. How about you?
Yeah, I'm completely staying away from this game. I agree with you on Darvish. He does not play well in those big games. He does not play as well on the road. And, Seattle's bats are solid. They haven't done much against him to date, right. But I just don't trust him. And, if he was a couple thousand cheaper, I'd take a flyer. But at the pricing, I think there's much better pitchers, much more reliable pitchers to go after. I do think Gilbert's a good pitcher, but the San Diego bats are pretty good, and he's not that cheap either. So I really, I'm not even going to go with a one-off bat on Seattle. I think you will be good enough. And I think this is just going to be a fairly low scoring, but not sort of a solid game by anyone. So I'm fading it.
I'm excited because that after-hour slate, Darvish is going to be chalk.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. And so, or close to it. Yeah. So we'll see how it rolls. All right, last game, 9:45, Atlanta Braves, San Francisco Giants. 59. Now we're back to what we're used to.
Yeah.
It's 59 degrees at first pitch in San Fran. Little swirly winds as normal. 8's the total. 4.47 implied for the Braves, 3.53 for the Giants. Kyle Wright takes the bump for the Braves at 9.4K, and he will be opposed by Jacob Junis, 7.9K for the Giants. What do you have to finish out the slate here?
Yeah, well, that Wright is dead to us right now, given his last outing. We were all over him, and so
I hate him and his family and extended family. Nothing personal, but it is what it is.
But it's personal, exactly. So I'm staying away from him, but I'm also staying away from the San Fran bats. They rarely excite me that much, and he's good enough if he does have a good game. There's not gonna be much there. On the other side, Junis. I mean, Junis is so kind of, he's okay. I think some of the Atlanta bats could be good, but I didn't. Again, they're going to be very expensive, and I'd rather go with the Dodgers in this case instead of Atlanta. In cold San Fran, where probably power is not going to be as big of a deal.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like Kyle Wright at all, obviously now. I just totally he just looked like a quitter out there on the mound the last go around. So I don't know. It's hard to really ever stack anything in San Francisco
Yeah,
because I've seen balls hit to center there, Deb, that look
they
like
just
they're
die.
out of the stadium and it's a, can of corn on the warning track. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
they just die.
So, yeah, the Giants bats have been pathetic. So I understand if you go to right, and it's going to be hard for me if I fade Darvish
Yeah,
and fade right, but I don't think I have the courage or guts to go back to right after that last performance.
yeah,
But it is a great spot for him in a
yeah.
terrible hitting ballpark and the team that's going nowhere.
Yeah,
So,
the late night stack might be a place to play him. Give him one more chance. But on the main slate, again, I just
oh, not even a
right.
consideration.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then the Braves bats, I was hoping I'd get a little bit more out of Acuna last night. He's always a danger. And it's a hard place to hit, and the price of those Braves bats is expensive. Acuna, Swanson, Riley. I'll tell you though, Matt Olson at 4.5 is cheap,
yeah.
and Arnaud at 4.2 for catcher's cheap. Michael Harris has been hitting like a guy that should be batting second or third. He's cheap. And Grissom, same thing. So that's the great part about that Braves lineup. Even your buddy Grossman and Rosario at the bottom, those guys can all hit. So
Okay,
I don't mind having some Braves exposure, just not a big stack.
I'm with you.
All right, before we hit Prize Picks and Boom, let me say this. Boom is our presenting sponsor of this podcast. We really want to thank them for their partnership as they're just launched, and give them a look. Their link is connected everywhere you're watching us now, and check them out. If you're listening on our audio podcast, you can go to our website, click on the link there. We're at dfscoachtalk.com. Click on that Boom Fantasy link, download it, and start playing. It is fantastic. If you're in the 26 states, we'll continue to update as they add states this month. Also, if you want to become a part of Coach Talk, we'd love to have you. We have our football membership that just started with week 1. Still can dive on that great deal. Again, go to DFS Coach Talk. You can sign up right there. If you're watching this on YouTube, quick thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the little alert. That means a lot to us. It really helps us as we grow this channel, and we appreciate each one of you. We're going to bring you 7-day-a-week podcasts in front of the paywall for baseball and basketball, and the 2 podcasts for football, Thursday nights at 6:50 with Crash, Steven, and myself, and then 8 p.m. on Saturdays for the big Sunday slate. All right. We've got to get Boom Fantasy and Prize Picks. Let's go Prize Picks first.
Do it.
You have your Prize Picks plays ready, Deb?
I do. Let me grab them. I thought I did.
I'll go. Darvish under 36.5 fantasy score.
Okay.
I explained why I don't like him. 36.5 is a healthy amount. And I really think that it's a great spot to go. And I'm not even going to make Montgomery any of my picks on Prize Picks or Boom, because I've got him higher rated and more discrepancy than I've had any other player all year. So good Lord, please come through for me, Montgomery. But I'm not going to stick him on these bets because I've already given him out as my favorite play. So
okay. God, that's so weird. My Prize Picks have disappeared.
But you can look them up. I'll give my second one.
Yeah, go for it.
I saw this one and I'm scratching my head. Deb, explain it to me. The over fantasy score for Mr. Harper, like Bryce Harper, is 6.
Yeah. I saw that.
Why is it so low?
Crazy, right?
I don't know how you don't.
I like that one a lot. I was surprised by that one.
I couldn't understand it.
So, yeah, that was one of mine.
Good.
And I've also got, I have a bunch here because I felt like some of the Prize Picks were pretty favorable.
Yep.
I like DeGrom at over 50.5.
Okay.
Fantasy.
Yep.
I like Betts at over half a run. Top of that lineup. And I like Ian Happ at less than half total bases. So again,
Okay.
if I'm pitching to him, he's not going to get on base.
Hapless, huh?
Hapless.
All right.
He's hapless.
All right. Excellent. Boom Fantasy, our presenting sponsor.
Okay.
You have those handy?
I sure do. Let's get those going.
I'll tell you, my first one is Harper again. He's only over a half a hit. So I expect him to get some hits in this game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm expecting
I like
that
that
early.
I like that a lot. I've got my first one is Dean Kramer at over 15.5 pitching outs. So
Nice.
Yep.
And your second?
My second is Giancarlo Stanton at over half a run.
Okay.
I mean, if he doesn't score a run in this, in this game against Pavetta, batting second.
Yeah.
And then my third one was Chris the Boob Bubik at over 2.5 earned runs.
Boob under. Okay. Under boob. I get it.
Over 2.5.
Over boob. Gotcha. He's giving up more. I gotcha.
That's
okay.
right.
My other one was I know it's the earlier game, but you can play it still. Sandy Alcantara over 5.5 hits. I just don't like him in this matchup today. I think they smack him around a little bit, and he's going to pitch a bunch of innings like he always does. So it's going to give him a chance to give up some more hits. All right, let's thank you, Jim, because we did forget. I'd like to always review our plays of the day. And we forgot that. So let's go over those real quickly. Deb, go ahead. You can go hit first.
Yeah, sure. So we've got, for my pitchers, I've got DeGrom as my pay up and Kramer as my value, and I'm fading Kershaw. My BVP is Mookie Betts, home run call, Christian Walker, with a little backup for Giancarlo Stanton. My top stacks are the Dodgers, Minnesota, and St. Louis.
Okay.
And what else do we have? And GPP stack for me is Arizona. Yeah, I think that's
Perfect.
it.
All right. I'm paying up for DeGrom. A big hot take. I know this, watch us just for those kind of takes because you're not going to get those anywhere else. My value pitcher, my biggest discrepancy in plus minus for what he's on listed at. I like Jordan Montgomery, and now the crash is on him. I mean, it's scary. I'm fading you, Darvish. My BVP call is Will Smith. He's going to slap Kelly across the face, just like his namesake. And I'm sorry, all the jokes today. I don't know what's happening. I like Santander for Baltimore for my home run pick. And I like Harper for the Phillies also as a home run pick. My stacks are the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Mets, the Metropolitans. And that's it. I think that's what we got, Deb.
Nice. Love it.
All right. Excellent. I don't see any questions lingering. So we are, how did we do on time? I've totally lost track.
Hour 13.
That's right. We're the over under on us is swelled to like 115. So, let's consider this as an under. We made it.
There you go.
So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Deb, thank you. Great having you on.
A lot of fun.
Tuesdays. It's great to have you on. So
awesome.
And we'll get you in football here one of these weeks too.
Yeah.
Maybe you could take over. And, what's that?
No, I just said appreciate it, everyone, and appreciate everyone on the chat. A lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your Tuesday with us. We will certainly be back. Crash and I'll be at it tomorrow, and we'll certainly be looking to crush it in MLB, DFS, and Boom Fantasy.